Well, we're here at Holy Smoke Cigars in East Ridge, Tennessee once again. And we've got a good friend who has shown up. And we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to introduce you to a dear friend of mine. His name is Mateen L. Not what Bama Jack calls him, which is Martine. But we're never going to fix that. We just can't get it fixed.
Not with a 90-year-old.
But Mateen, welcome to Holy Smoke, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
As always, Dennis, whatever you need me to do, I'll always be for you, brother. You know that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes,
and to his point, I got in touch with him a couple of days ago and sent Mateen a text. And this morning I texted him back and said, hey, did you get my text about coming to do a podcast? And he goes, yeah, is today okay? And that worked out pretty well and pretty quickly. I got in touch with our producer and engineer, Bill McCord, and said, I don't want to push you, Bill, but can you be ready in about 20 minutes? And, of course, Bill lives 30 minutes away, and he still did it, so we're all good.
Grateful.
I mentioned that you and I had been friends for a while and that I met you quite some time ago, but do you remember how and where we met?
If I can recall, it was at, I guess I can say the name.
Oh, absolutely.
Cigar Man.
I believe it was at 5 Star.
Initially, when everybody used to be at Cigar Man before we moved to 5 Star.
Okay.
And then the relationship meshed at 5 Star.
All right, that's it then. So we actually did meet at Cigar Man here in Chattanooga on Main Street.
Yes.
And but you're right. We really became connected a lot better after 5 Star Cigar Bar opened up in Hickson, Tennessee.
That's correct.
And as I recall, you were helping Ed out up there, not so much as a bouncer, but a guy to just kind of take care of things and watch the door, because my band was playing up there for some weekend nights. We had Fridays and Saturday nights that Ed invited us to play at 5 Star. And we had some great time up there. I mean, great times. And Mateen was in charge of the door, and he just kind of took care of business for us. I remember one thing that was very interesting that happened. My wife, Karen, had our grandsons, and Reed and Jake were probably 5 and 7 or something like that at the time. And she had not been up there before, and she knew that I was playing, so she asked the boys, do you want to go hear Papa play some music?
Right.
I said, sure, we'd love to. That was back when they cared.
That's right.
And back before they got too old to care.
Yeah.
But Karen showed up over at 5 Star and met Mateen right outside the door and had the boys with her, and he was very much the gentleman and explained to her. He knew who she was. He said, I know you're here to see Dennis, but can't let the boys go in because, there's smoking, there's drinking, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, I think Karen probably thought, well, why not? We let them in our house. And there's smoking and drinking going on. Actually, not true at all.
Yeah.
Well, there might be some drinking going on.
Maybe some drinking. Definitely not a smoker.
But anyway, you were very much the gentleman, and I believe that's the first time that Karen met you. And you guys became good friends very quickly.
You know what? I think that was the first time because I didn't know that was her until you came out and said when you had that break that was my wife and introduced me to her. Yeah. Because I, of course, having to go by state law, no underage in the place, regardless of what the circumstances was, and me being who I was as the ambassador.
That's right. And you know what?
5 Star Cigar.
And that's a good word for it. You have been a good ambassador for us here at Holy Smoke. We've been open 3.5 years. You have always been not only a valued friend to me, but you have been a very valued customer at Holy Smoke. And I appreciate the kind things you say about us, and I appreciate the fact that you come over here and smoke cigars with us, and it means a lot to me.
Dennis, I wouldn't have it any other way. And no, you know that, and the staff that work for you know that prior to us moving into this location now. Yep. And then everybody that you was involved with, they knew how much I loved being around you guys.
Right.
When we lost the spot at 5 Star, I was concerned about where we go. And then when you opened up Holy Smoke, when you were telling me that you was going to do that, I knew I was going to be all in. Yep. I knew I was going to make this my home because of the camaraderie that we had amongst the people that came in here.
Right.
No matter who's walked through those doors.
Right.
I've always shown them love.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten any pushback from anybody or resistance from anybody to be me and who I am.
Right.
So that's what makes me so thankful to have a spot like Holy Smoke in Chattanooga.
Well, we're thankful for you too, and that's one of the things that we really kind of talk about when someone comes in here for the very first time and looks around. We're obviously trying to make them feel welcome, and but let's talk about that from your perspective, how we make people feel, and how even our customers like you participate in the atmosphere that goes on here.
And listen, it doesn't matter if they come in from out of state, if they come in locally. It has always been when they walk through this door, somebody's going to greet them.
Right.
No matter who it has been. Then as you look around this place, sitting somewhere, and you got people from different backgrounds. We're talking economical and social backgrounds. No matter what the circumstances, everybody says, hey, how we doing? Welcome to Holy Smoke.
Right.
Can I get you something?
Yep.
Offer a drink that may be on the table.
Yep.
Have, a cigar. Is it something I can purchase you, to make you welcome?
Right.
And everybody feels at home here.
Yeah.
You can go some other places and it's, a little stoic or it's a little like too much tension. There's too much separation. But in Holy Smoke, no matter where you sit, you're part of the conversation. You're part of the family. You're part of the love in which we share.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about Dennis Massengale, of being who he is for what we've established here.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and you nailed something. It's not just the employees or those of us who are owners or whatever. It's everybody. Everybody in here is part of what we have and what we do. We have kind of taken on the name of the Cheers of Cigars because everybody knows you here.
That's right.
And I didn't quite steal their tagline, which is where everybody knows your name, but it is a place where everybody knows you. We might not know someone's name for a while until we get to know them, but we do end up learning most people's names, and our regulars are every bit as much of a part of the atmosphere and the cigar culture here as we are who work here.
Talk now. Speak the truth, because that is definitely true. Everybody from the pipe people that come in on every other
about every third Saturday.
Every third Saturday they come in and have a little pipe club, and they all of those guys, everybody that I've come in to speak, I've become knowing who they are.
Yep.
And they know who Mateen is.
Yep.
If I don't see them in months or so, but I come in whenever, they know me.
Right.
People that I haven't seen that's been regular customers come in, hey Mateen, how you doing?
Yep.
They remember me. I may not remember their name, but I know their face because they come here.
Yep.
They come to Holy Smoke to hang out and have a good time.
Well, let's face it, you're rather hard to not notice. You're a pretty good sized fella.
Well, thanks, Dennis.
Mateen was in here a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to get my picture made with him. I had my wife take the picture, and I literally stood on the couch and put my arm around him to where I looked about 3 inches taller than he was. And so I cropped the picture to where you couldn't tell I was standing on the couch. And but yeah, you're kind of hard to miss even in a big crowd.
Well, and you know me, Dennis. I walk in the room, my infectious personality, it seems I've always absorbed the room. So I don't intentionally do that. It's just who I am. It
is who you are.
It's who
I am.
And
that's what we appreciate about it. Let's talk about cigars specifically.
Come on.
How long have you been smoking cigars?
Ooh, let's go back to my Navy days. I started tinkering around with cigars when I was in the Navy as a pup. We talking 82, 83 when I was in San Diego coming out of school. Not really knowing what the cigars back then. You know, I think we're smoking the Hava Tampas or whatever the
probably had a Swisher or
Swisher Sweet back then, thinking that was, the thing to do. And then I, of course, went into the pipe because of being a sailor. We was the pipe thing, Popeye.
Yeah.
And then I gravitated to understanding more.
Well, wait a minute. Popeye? Are you taking a shot here?
No, Dennis. No pun intended. I didn't catch myself.
It was a really good one that you slipped right into.
But you're a nut, so no pun intended. And then I started really getting deeper into cigars. I said about 15 years ago, understanding the makeup of cigars, the filler binder wrapper, the flavors that goes into them, the length, the names, the blends, the brands, so forth and so on. And Alec Bradley actually was the first cigar that I got into, and that was the Alec Bradley Max, I think the Max Black, which was very harsh and Maduro. Not knowing, I'm thinking I'm gonna get into this based on what I had in the past, and woo, what an experience. And then I've graduated. I've graduated to become what a lot of people that I know that calls me for information on cigars, the aficionado. I'm not the guy, but I know a lot, and I'm still learning.
You're certainly one of them.
Well, and I appreciate it because I my palate is pretty rich from where I started and to where I am now. And I'm not that bougie, but I am a bougie smoker. But so cigars has been a part of my life for about the last 15 years.
Well, I've got a lot of respect for your cigar knowledge, and I've mentioned this before. I've been smoking cigars for literally 50 years, but and now that I've been a part of this shop for 3.5 years, by osmosis, I have gained some knowledge. I know a little bit more now than I used to. But I'm still not that guy, and you really kind of are. You can describe a cigar that you smoked 5 years ago, and you can tell me what the blend is. And quite frankly, I don't have that kind of retention in my mind. I think maybe my brain is just too small to hold all, especially with all the other crap that's in here.
That's going on.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, and I'm glad you said that word as far as retention. It's something that I've learned from a young man before I went into the military to retain the knowledge, certain things that are important to me. Now, of course, we know we don't keep everything. Because we forget more than we remember.
Right.
Nonetheless, there's information that I want to store within in my data bank that is more important to me as I move on through life. Like cigars, it's a lifestyle. It has become a lifestyle. It's my mental therapy. So I learned from some people. Josh, what is Josh's last name? Used to sell cigars for you. Josh Smart.
Yes.
I learned from him. There's this one guy who has really given me a lot of knowledge. His name is Michael Wayne Bruce.
Yep.
Oh man, I learned so much.
Know him.
I learned so much from him just in conversation about certain cigars that he enjoyed and his travels with someone else who had taken him to where the leaves are grown and they're manufactured and cured in order to be rolled into cigars. So with that, I took a little bit of both of what these two guys gave me and start learning even more myself.
Right.
Reading, listening to certain people talk, and holding them in my hand. And of smoking 5 different cigars a day at times, from the Connecticut all the way up to a Maduro, just to understand what am I doing.
Right.
Just to please my palate and understanding the flavor transition of each, if they had that, based on these two guys is talking to me about cigars.